Now, one thing is for certain about Meghan Markle is that she is by far the most narcissistic, self-absorbed individual within the film industry that is trying to stay relevant, that is trying to stay within the limelight or the spotlight, whatever have you, at all costs at this point, because she knows that her contract renewal is not really going to happen over at Netflix. It's looking less and less likely as time moves on, and that's exactly why she's been going to other studios after losing a lot of contract deals with other studios out there like HBO and among others like Paramount, and the list goes on and on. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle right now is that we know that she is truly fighting to stay relevant within Hollywood. We know that she's trying to latch on to any role that she can at this point, whether it's big or small or anything that has to do with a cameo. She's been losing a lot of those roles in the process while also having a very troublesome process of obtaining future roles with other studios and productions out there. And we already know at the same exact time she's lost so much money when it comes to previous contract deals that were either A, in the works, or B, very close to actually closing and really becoming a done deal. But this is where matters get even more interesting, is that we already know that Meghan Markle is basically on this tirade train. She is truly beginning to actually get bent out of shape against the critics of her, against those that are criticizing her series with Love Meghan, and everything else that revolves around herself. Now, interestingly enough, one thing that we do know about Meghan Markle is that she does not take criticism well, and she also does not take any kind of form of a consequence against her as well. Now, what's interesting about this is that with Meghan Markle now getting into multiple heated arguments with Netflix over With Love Meghan Season 2, one significant development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle going on yet another rant and tirade after millions of dollars in contract deals were lost after they were called off by multiple studios throughout the past 3 to 4 months and counting. Now, Meghan recently delivered the following. I think when you are a woman in this business, in this industry, it can be very difficult, especially when you are Meghan Markle. Me. Someone who just loves to express herself with no ifs, ands, or buts. I just like to be myself. But it's in this very industry where more often than not, you will actually find that women really go through the most awful experiences in Hollywood by many of these studios that decide at the very last minute, like the flip of a switch, to that you, of course, you are an afterthought. And I will be very honest, I have experienced this myself lately, something I am unwilling to comment in detail for now. But what you will find what's wrong in so many areas in this business is that this entire industry, for the most part, is not run by women as it should be. If it was, I think that we could actually see great change in this developing industry. You would actually really begin to see fairness and the celebration of equality more often. Now that we are in 2025, it's a damn shame that it has all come to this, where women like myself face the most challenging moments just to obtain the projects of your dreams. This is why I say, take matters into your own hands. Do all the legwork that you can and get things done on your own. The growing issues with sexism, misogyny, and bigotry are very real in this industry, and it needs to change now, and it needs to change fast already. For far too long have men got their things done their way, nearly every single time, for everything that has to do with film, television, or music. We need more women running the entire concept of show business, I feel, for real change to even arrive in the first place. Now guys, let me just stop here for one moment. Again, Meghan Markle is obviously very bitter. She's not taking it very well over the fact that she lost, tens of millions of dollars in contract deals that would have given her a very lengthy career, quote unquote, either, playing very small roles or significant roles here and there. And now she's struggling, right? She is struggling to obtain any kind of role out there beyond Netflix. And that has a lot to do with, by the way, the fallout between herself and Netflix, and how much of a ratings disaster With Love Meghan truly was, and how a lot of studios are now beginning to wake up that it's people out there like, for example, Rachel Zegler, Meghan Markle, and among other actresses out there, and even actors that have been very much insufferable. Even Robert De Niro, he lost a lot of deals as well. So she's now taking it on the critic, she's now taking it against the criticism over her series with Love Meghan, and she's obviously dragging in gender politics into her argument. saying how the industry now needs to be run by nearly all women to make things fair, to make things balanced, and everything always has to center on gender politics, right? When it comes to someone like Meghan Markle, when it comes to typical, actresses in Hollywood, for the most part, like 90% of them are just like that, right? They always drag gender politics into arguments when things don't really go as planned. Now, this is what's interesting, is that she goes on to allude further to the fact, and until then, I think that you were going to see rising issues year by year. I was involved in some very passionate projects that didn't really work out, just out of the blue like that, and it was just disheartening that, like always, it comes from these very studios that are run primarily by men. We need a better system, a more organized system that celebrates fairness and equality for all angles of show business. Whether you are an actress, musician, or writer, whatever, things need to change fast, and they need to change now. I will forever do everything I can to take on projects that I am passionate about, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, mark my words, because I feel I have a purpose in this life, and that purpose is to show people the right path and to show that my passion is to educate the uneducated, whether you are in the States or in the UK or anywhere else. I just feel people need guidance, and that is something that I'm chasing to obtain in my programs, and you will see many examples of that in With Love Meghan Season 2. So again, there she goes confirming that in With Love Meghan Season 2, part of her momentum or part of her motivation of getting involved in this is that she wants to educate the uneducated. And again, nobody wants to actually view this series as an educational piece, number one. Number two, nobody wants to see Meghan Markle in a series associated with Netflix at all to begin with. And I think that she just doesn't really get it at this point. She really does not get the criticism that nobody really wants to see her on television. Nobody wants to see her in movies, whether it's in cameo form or in a small role form, whatever it may be. That's exactly why a lot of studios gave her the boot. They want nothing to do with her. We already talked about what happened over at HBO, Paramount, Blumhouse Productions, all these different studios out there that actually had her roles embedded in their upcoming films and or projects that she initiated right from the get-go that are now no longer happening. And so she feels very irrelevant. She feels very much like, everything is beginning to actually dim down. She's really not getting any roles anymore, and that's the reality of the overall scenario right now, is that she's beginning to realize that it's very difficult for someone like herself, Meghan Markle, to obtain any roles now. Did you guys notice how she actually referred to herself in the third person in the very beginning? I thought that was very strange. But again, this is Meghan Markle. What else can you really expect, right? But again, we know that with Love Meghan Season 2, they will be doing some additional filming by this June. She wants to drag politics into the equation. She wants to actually have those like Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris making little cameos in episodes 4 and 6 of With Love Meghan Season 2. Again, I like to call it just Season 1 Part 2 because that's what it really is. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.